If you want to support the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Tricks Ridiculous back with another video, and in this one I've got my Doctor Strange build in Midnight Suns. Now I will go as far as to say that Doctor Strange is the best character in Midnight Suns, and I don't think it's particularly close. So what I'm going to go through today is my deck, show you exactly how I have him set up, and I do believe that the way I have him set up is the best possible way to play him in the most general sense. I will include a few arguments for other options you can include if you're doing more specialized teams, but the way I have him set up here fits into any team composition and will make that team much better. And I'll end the video with some Ultimate 3 gameplay using Doctor Strange to really propel the team forward. And I'll use two kind of different teams. Strange will be the only consistent across the teams, and I'll use two different heroes on each of the teams. So you can see just how powerful he is. It's very subtle because he is a support character, but you'll see just how he's able to push the team over the top. Before we do, be sure to like the video if you like the Midnight Suns content and subscribe for more. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. So here's my Doctor Strange here. So you can see on the left side the deck. It's pretty straightforward, at least as far as the amount of cards, right? So I'm running 2 Winds of Watum, 2 Astral Meditation, 2 Blessing of Vishanti, and 2 Crimson Bands of Sidorak. And with the Winds of Watum, I'm using on KO draw a strange card, all right? Now I'm using that on both of them. This is really the only damage, the only attack he has. Like I said, he's a very heavy support character, easily the best support character in the game. And all of his other spells, it's actually really easy kind of deck highlight here because every single one of his other cards I have modded for free. Free is the best mod you can get on any either skill or heroic cards. So every single one of his heroic cards can roll with free. So that is what I have them rolled for. So pretty much any of these will not cost a card play. Card plays are, of course, the most valuable resource in Midnight Sun, so being able to save those card plays is extremely important. And then when I use the Winds of Watum, obviously you're going to be using it on a minion, right? Because, you know, it doesn't necessarily do any damage. It just does knockback, but it does have quick. But you're going to be able to draw a strange card. So you're either going to draw another one of your Winds of Watum, which is just going to help you with ad clear, or you're going to draw one of his free cards, right? And then as far as heroics, you know, the only heroic I'm using here is Crimson Bands of Sidorak, which, of course, I'm using 2 of them, but they only cost 2 heroism. So very, very low heroism cost, which is offset by the fact that he doesn't actually generate any here, just because I have free modded on all of his cards, except for Winds of Watum, both only generate 1 heroism, but you'll see why that doesn't matter in just a second, all right? Now, Winds of Watum, pretty straightforward, quick attack. I would not use any of his other attacks. I think this one is very easy peasy. Like I said, you're not going to really rely on Strange for damage. You're going to use other characters for that. He is truly a full support character, right? So you're just going to use this when you're able to maybe clear and add a minion here or there, and then draw another one of Strange's cards, ideally one of the free ones, all right? Astral Meditation, this is far and away the best card in the game. There is not a better card than this. You restore 2 combat items used this mission, and you get +2 redraws. It does have exhaust, so of course we're running 2 of them, so we will be able to get this effect a maximum of 2 times in the mission, but after that they will be exhausted. Now, as far as what combat items you can use, it really can be up to you. These are generally the 3 that I take on any given mission. I'll use the Battlefield Scanner Mark II, which draws 4 cards. Pretty basic ability, pretty straightforward, but it does draw the most cards. If you're being a little more specialized with someone like an Iron Man or someone who wants to like eat up all the card plays, there is another combat item that allows you to draw 2. You pick a character and you draw 2 of their cards. The name is escaping me now, but it's a pretty common one. Utility Belt, here it is right here. Select a hero, draw 2 of their cards. So personally, I'll just rather draw 4 cards you know, especially because Strange has so many free cards, and I try to get free cards on all the heroes I play. So just getting more cards, in my opinion, is a little better. But again, if you're really focusing in on a hero that wants as many of their own cards as possible, like an Iron Man is a perfect example, a utility belt could be a little bit better in that case if you want to focus in on that. Major Strength Tonic, this one is fantastic. Select a hero, they gain overpowered and one overpowered and 2 vulnerable. So vulnerable, of course, is that they're going to take 50% more damage from enemies. That can be resisted if they have high enough resist and you get lucky on that. Or you can just use the move, you know, to cure them as your once per turn move if you're not using it for anything else. But you're really obviously using this for the overpowered. Overpowered is a unique mechanic. It only comes on this card. It's similar to Strengthened, however, it's 100%. So it does actually stack with Strengthened. So if you give a hero Strengthened, they're going to get 50% bonus damage. And then if you use this combat item on them, they will get overpowered. They will get an extra 100% damage. So you can really get your numbers up in the stratosphere with this one. So this one, very, very strong, especially if you're taking a much more offensive playstyle. And then Evil Eye Totem, this one I never take off. You select a hero and you apply 2 marked to all enemies targeting them. Insane, right? So you kind of want to scan the battlefield when you're looking at this one, see what enemies are kind of targeting what heroes. Ideally, you're in a situation where like most of the enemies are targeting one of your heroes and they're not super split. Then you'll easily and freely apply marked to all of those enemies completely without even a card play. And marked, if you don't know, fantastic ability, allows your card plays to be refunded by killing that enemy, even if it's not a quick attack. So marked, extremely powerful, really lets your turns go on and lets you really clear the battlefield. Evil Eye Totem, absolutely must have. Now, there are other options, so feel free to, you know, go through, you know, all the items that you get through the story and through Agatha's Cauldron. Some other good ones, you know, are the Overdrive Serum. This one, extremely powerful. Sometimes I use this instead of the Major Strength Tonic. You gain heroism equal to the cost of all heroic cards in your hand. Absolutely insane. So you actually get this as part of the Hulk Midnight Suns challenge quest line. You pretty much unlock it right when you get his Midnight Suns ability. This is fantastic. This, I mean, if you have a handful of like a couple of hero combo cards and maybe like even just another, you know, 2 cost heroic card, this instantly gets you to 10 heroism. All right, so normally combat items, a lot of people, just in general, a lot of people don't really think to use them, or if they do, you know, they don't think to recraft them, and you can only craft the same combat item once every 4 days. So you can't necessarily use them every mission, but they are extremely powerful. However, going back to Doctor Strange, that's why the card Astral Meditation is the best card in the game, because generally when you have it in your hand, you can easily look at any 2 combat items that you have equipped, use 2 of them right then and there, and then use your Astral Meditation and get them right back. So it does so much. Just imagine, I mean, looking at this card, you can apply 2 marked to 50% or more of the battlefield and gain 10 heroism for literally free. It doesn't even cost a card play if you have the free mod on it. That's why this is the best card in the game, and it's one of the reasons Strange is one of the best. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, if you're going to go for any mods, you know, even if you don't have your Strange deck exactly the way I have it, if you're going to go for any cards, first and foremost, go for a free mod on Astral Meditation. Even if you can't get that, definitely include 2 Astral Meditations in any Strange deck you build. Absolutely is the best. Then we've got 2 Blessing of Vishanti. These I also have for free, of course. Give hero cards in your hand plus 85 damage for the rest of the mission. That doesn't sound super good, but it really actually is quite insane, especially if, you know, you get an Astral Meditation or 2, you draw a bunch of cards, and then you can just throw out 1 or 2 Blessing of Vishantis and just get that massive, you know, 85 damage across all of your cards. That includes combo cards, that even includes cards that wouldn't normally do damage as long as they target an enemy. So for example, the Crimson Bands of Sidorak doesn't actually do damage, but if you do play one, or excuse me, play a Blessing of Vishanti with one of these in your hand, it'll actually get that damage added right to it. So just kind of some funny things like that. So it really just adds damage to almost every card in your hand as long as that card targets an enemy. And the other thing about this too is it's base damage, right? What that means is that if your character has, you know, strengthened or overpowered, or even if the card is just a critical hit, that all of those modifiers and multipliers get added to the Blessing of Vishanti base damage, right? So, you know, if you've got a crit on a character, you've got a crit card in your hand, and then the character that, you know, it's for you've used the overpowered card on him, maybe he's got strengthened from another source. If you use Blessing of Vishanti after that, you're going to notice the damage on that card jump to astronomical numbers, very, very high, easily hundreds, if not, you know, easily well into the thousands on some damage numbers on some powerful cards. So 2 Blessing of Vishantis, and keep in mind, it does work for the rest of the mission. So it's easy to just kind of throw these out, especially if you're playing with other characters that draw cards, using quick attacks that have draw 2 cards on KO, or just things like that. You can easily cycle through a lot of cards, and then when you get those cards back, they're going to have the previous boost that you gave them before. So Blessing of Vishanti, strongly recommended. And then the last 2 here, Crimson Bands of Sidorak. Very straightforward ability, apply Bind, and apply when vulnerable. So Bind essentially makes it so the enemy unit cannot act on their next turn, and it does not go away when you hit them. So it's different from something like Stun, where if you stun an enemy and then you hit them, they come out of the stun, right? So you kind of have to use it as your last action. Bind, you don't have to worry about that. You bind them, they're bound. That's it. They're not getting out of it until their next turn. So very useful on, you know, higher health bar enemies, even, you know, the super villains, you know, when they show up in a mission, you can easily just keep locking them down over and over with a Crimson Bands. And of course, again, like I said, we've got the free mod. That's the one you want to go for. And then apply when vulnerable, right? So that they're going to be taking 50% more damage from your sources. So only cost 2 heroism. Strongly recommended to just play 2 of these. It's very easy to just throw them out, like I said, especially if you're using like an overdrive serum as part of your items, and then you're using those astral meditations to get those back. You'll be floating at 10 heroism pretty much all the time. So 2 heroism is not going to be anything for you. And keep in mind, Doctor Strange does have the best passive in the game, 50% chance each turn to generate 2 heroism. So really not a concern with heroism from Strange here. He's definitely not, the way I have him set up anyway, he's definitely not a heroism sink in any type of way. Now, looking at some of his other cards, the Seven Sons of Cinnabus, I personally do not like this card. It is his Midnight Sun's ultimate ability. It just doesn't do enough for me. In my opinion, Strange is best played as a pure support. It's where he excels, and it's what his strength is, so that's how I'm going to keep my Strange build. So I do not run Seven Sons of Cinnabus. Shield of the Seraphim, this one can also roll with the free mod. So this one applies 1 resist to Strange and all allies, and cures Strange and all allies. And then it costs 3 heroism, and then enhanced, if you have 6 heroism, it gives everyone 2 resist instead of 1. This is a little situational. It's definitely much more of a defensive card. I find, you know, in a lot of cases, I personally do not need too much resist. I tend to be pretty offensive, and then even when I am being kind of tanky, the enemies themselves, usually I'll try to apply weak, or it really won't even be too many enemies that are attacking me. So I don't super recommend Shield of the Seraphim. If you have it with a free mod, it can be okay, but it definitely, adding it in on top of everything else we have here, really turns him from, the way I have him, not much of a heroic you know, energy sink to definitely eating up a lot of your heroic, especially once you have 6 heroism. There's no way to cast this one for anything less than 6, so it's going to cost quite a bit, and to me, 2 resist and a cure, not the greatest for 6 heroism. One of them, on the other hand, though, that could be really good is Vapors of Valtor. So this applies concealed to Strange or an ally and restores 340 health. Now, this, again, can also roll the free mod, right, which is, of course, the one you want. Vapors of Valtor, definitely in a specialized setup, this could work really well. If you're playing something like a Hulk or even Captain America, and you're taunting a lot of enemies, right? ideally what you can do, a good way to set this up, if you have a couple of free Vapors of Valtor in your Strange deck, you play something like Captain America, you taunt the entire battlefield, and then you use concealed on the Captain America. All of those enemies who are now taunted at Cap, he's now concealed. They cannot attack for the turn. They don't get to attack someone else. They just lose their attack, right? So you can use that to really kind of time warp your enemies and essentially take extra turns, if you will. That can be pretty strong. So, if you're running a Vapors of Valtor, definitely try to get it with the free mod, and then I would recommend pairing it with an enemy, or with a teammate who can taunt a lot of enemies. That will work out really well. The only other skill that I could recommend for Strange is the Agamotto's Gaze. I don't have any on my character right here, but that is the skill that essentially returns 2 attack cards. That the last 2 attack cards that were played to your hand, they get a damage boost, and then you can essentially get 4 card plays the following turn. I don't personally run any in my standard Strange deck here, although it is good. That one can also roll with the free mod. So what you can do, I would strongly recommend those with a character that wants or has chains. Someone like a Wanda could be extremely good. In fact, I'm actually working on a team comp right now that will use those along with Wanda's Hex Bolts, because if you know how Wanda's Hex Bolt works, every time you use it, you essentially get you add 1 chain to all future Hex Bolt cards that you play, right? So if you're Hex Bolting people, and then you're bringing back those Hex Bolts with Strange, they're going to be even stronger the second time around. So that can be a pretty good setup. And adding damage to cards, using even cards like Blessing of Vishanti or the Agamotto's Gaze, who add damage to attack cards, those scale even better with cards that have chain, right? So Wanda, Blade, Ghost Rider, Blessing of Vishanti, and Agamotto's Gaze wouldn't work for Ghost Rider because his is a heroic, not an attack, but Blessing of Vishanti especially will add tons and tons of damage to chain attacks on those enemies, essentially multiplicative for how many times they actually chain. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my Doctor Strange. Like I said, he's very straightforward, but he is immensely powerful. Like I said, just a couple of easy Winds of Watoomb to help draw more of his cards, and then every single other one of his cards being a free card play. So in the gameplay, you'll notice he almost is a subtle character, right? You almost don't even see any Doctor Strange cards in my hand, because as soon as I draw them, they're instantly played because they're free. But if you watch closely, you'll see just how powerful his effects can actually be on the course of the gameplay and how much he supports the other characters. He is truly the best support character in the game. Even, some characters that are not very powerful, he absolutely brings them to the next level solely, by himself, with how powerful some of his cards like Astral Meditation can be. So definitely enjoy the gameplay. Let me know how you have your Doctor Strange built. And that's it from me. Be sure to like the video, subscribe for more Midnight Suns content. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hydra forces in this area are causing trouble. Let's take them down.
Let's knock it out.
Hulk not going any.
Get to the trucks and grab those artifacts before they roll out.
Hardly a concern for a Sorcerer Supreme. Let me show you the way. A gift from ancient traditions. Prepare yourselves.
We need to restore our strength.
Whatever works.
This is one of the stronger arms. We did come all the way here for a fight. Follow my movement. Transcendent. Side by side.
Hulk likes teamwork. Hulk will do it.
That's the spirit.
That should slow them down, but it won't stop them. Get to the artifact before they figure out what happened.
Even the Mother of Demons is forced to rely upon hired hands occasionally.
Here you go. Is it just me, or do I look different? Let me help.
Hulk owes you.
Watch closely. This should aid me in my fight.
Hulk
shines on the most dutiful.
That wasn't bad.
Moving into position.
I like our chances.
The artifacts are secure, but why don't you teach Hydra a lesson while you're there?
Hope this helps.
We've done it. Excellent work.
Even the Mother of Demons is forced to rely upon hired hands occasionally.
Consider it done. What is it like being so inconsequential?
That's one mystic out.
Now is my time.
Let's try this.
So it begins.
Interesting tactic.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Follow my movements.
I think you got him.
The endless search for wealth and power with just a tinge of fascism. Hydra will never change.
I am ready. I am getting stronger.
Here we go. They're not gonna like this.
Watch closely. I haven't felt this good in years.
bit helps. You're going down.
A man and his shield. Two halves of a whole, apparently.
We've knocked another mystic out of the ritual. Almost there.
I'm going in.
A moment of preparation. The light shines on the most dutiful.
It's the best I can do for now. This could prove powerful.
Our enemy draws near. We fear death.
Impressive.
Embrace your end.
It's time to finish this.
The most honorable of all Avengers strikes with a fair hand.
Target confirmed. That's the stuff. Watch my back. Do I look any different to you?
We may learn something of value from this one. I hope this is one of the stronger arms. We did come all the way here for a fight. It will take more than that, I'm afraid.
Once again. I'm feeling stronger already. Ready? Powerful sorcery. Excellent.
A gift from the ancient traditions.
Roger that. Just the boost I needed. Hope they're ready. Help is at hand. I'll make good use of this.
This will have to do. This will certainly help.
done it.